of Kings, it changed everything. It changed the color of the sky. It changed the color of the trees. It changed everything. We count it all joy when we face trials of many kinds, because it's going to build us up. It's going to give us endurance. And it's going to, when it's finished with its full work, make you perfect and whole. Remember, Jesus came to sozo us. Remember what sozo means? Saved, healed, delivered, made safe and sound, made whole. Got it? That's the whole. It's not just we're saved, guys. We're saved. Like I'm about to trip and fall, and sister over here catches me. She saves me. No, saved, made safe and sound and whole. He restores. Our new life is perfect. We just don't let it be. We don't frame it that way. We think that the struggles that we're going through are going to beat us down. Well, they will if you let them. But with Jesus, they're not going to beat you down. They're going to build you up, and they're going to bring you to a new level so that you've got a bigger testimony. You got more to tell. You got a chance for Jesus to show off his stuff. You with me? All right, so Daniel 3. Daniel 3. Way old school testament. Huh? I'm going to start in 1. I'm going to probably read all of it. Huh? I'm probably going to read all of Daniel 3. So in this time, let me just give you a little backstory here. In this time, the Jews were not serving God. And so God would allow a nation to capture them and bring them there to get their attention. Y'all, I was running from God one time, and I broke my foot falling off a horse, and he got my attention. Now, he didn't cause me to break my foot, but he used that moment to get my attention. So, the nation of Israel had been taken by the Babylonians. They took the biggest, the strongest, the best, brought them to Babylonia, and they gave them new names. You know why? You know why they gave them new names? Hear me on this one. Y'all say, hear me.
Hear me.
New names.
New names.
Okay, here's the deal. They gave them new names to change their identity. They wanted to take away from them their identity that God had given them. See, until we're born again, we walk in our old identity that is fashioned and made by this world. But you've got to know that we are not what we have done. We are not what has happened to us. We are created in his image, born again, blood-bought children to the King of Kings.
Amen.
With me? Y'all with me? So they gave them Babylonian names. These may sound familiar. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
I could never say those names.
I know. Well, if you do the VeggieTales one, it's like Benny.
Rad, Shack, and Benny.
Rad, Shack, and Benny. There you go.
Yeah.
Mr. Cartoon Guy back here. You don't have to grow up and not stop watching cartoons. So, King Nebuchadnezzar was over there, and he had captured the best of the best, brought them in so that they could be a part of his warring team. You with me? And then we got a lot of story that goes on. Y'all read it if you want to. It's really good. But here we are. King Nebuchadnezzar made an image of gold whose height was 60 cubits and its breadth 6 cubits. He set it on the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Then King Nebuchadnezzar sent to gather the satraps, the prefects, and the governors, the counselors, the treasurers, the justices, the magistrates, and all the officials of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image that the King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Here's the deal. He called everybody. He wanted every fool to know what was happening. Every government position, every high-acting office, he wanted them all there to see this ginormous statue that's huge. Okay, we don't know what a cubit is in our minds. I mean, we know what a cubit is. But it was like 36 feet tall.
It says 90 feet high and 9 feet wide.
How tall?
90 feet.
90 feet and 9 feet wide. 90 feet. Y'all know what that is? 9 stories. Generally, a story is 10 feet tall, I think, right? Right? 9 stories tall and 9 feet wide. That's 2 of me. This is half of it. That's big.
Okay, I'm not trying to translate. Thanks to King Nebuchadnezzar. Ain't that one that was crazy for like 7 years?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure I'm
Yeah, you're in the right place.
Okay.
So he gathers all of these officials together for the dedication of this giant statue. Verse 3. Then the satraps, the prefects, and the governors, the counselors, the treasurers, the justices, the magistrates, and all the officials of the provinces gathered for the dedication of the image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. And the herald proclaimed aloud, "You are commanded, O peoples, nations, and language," that means everybody, "that when you hear the sound of the horn, the pipe, the lyre, the trigon, the harp, the bagpipe, and every kind of music," that was the band, guys. I'm not going to say them again. I'm just going to say the big people and the band. That's a lot of work. I'm running out of juice.
When you're done worshiping, I'm going to throw you down into a fire pit.
When you hear the band play, you are to fall down and worship the golden image that the king Nebuchadnezzar has set up. And whoever does not fall down and worship shall immediately be cast into a burning fiery furnace. Therefore, as soon as all the people heard the sound of the horn, the band, all the people, nations, and languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Let me stop here for a second. Let me put this into today. We are called to worship the way of the world, living in the world. We are called to eye for eye. You know what I'm saying? Tooth for tooth, or whatever it says. I don't know what it is. We're called to get even. We're called to plot for someone who's done us wrong. We're called, forgiveness is out of the picture.
Right.
The way of the world is complete opposite of the Lord. That should not surprise us, because the enemy is the complete opposite of the Lord.
That's right.
So the way of the world, we live in the world. We are here in body. We are born again. We are an eternal spirit. But I live in this vessel until God calls me home. Not before then, until God calls me home. And in this vessel, I'm kind of stuck. For instance, I'm bound by the law of gravity.
Right.
I'd like to float. I'd like to be able just to rise up and fly, but I can't. I'm bound by gravity. There are laws of physics that I'm bound by. There are rules of the land that I'm bound by. There are ways of the world that think I should bow down and worship it.
Right.
But here's the deal, ready? I'm in the world, but I'm not of the world.
There you go.
Because I'm a born-again daughter to the King of Kings. When we get our identity solidified in our brain, it reframes everything. Bring it. I'm ready to walk through the valley of the shadow of death, because I know I am not alone. And believe me, I have walked through the valley of the shadow of death more than one time. Most of them was because foolish choices sent me there. I've been wilderness wandering. What'd you say on the way here? A walkabout. A walkabout. I have taken walkabouts when I said, I got this.
Yeah.
We saw, I gotta say, probably every person leave our halfway house saying, I got this.
Right.
Yeah. They ain't got nothing.
They ain't got nothing.
You go, girl.
We've been there, we know. But then the Lord will use situations, opportunities, time after time after time after time to get our attention until we listen to Him, until we catch on.
A few of those people actually said, I got this.
Oh yeah, I mean
I was one of them.
those specific words. I got this.
Yeah, I was one of them. You know how many words I said?
I know.
I got this, Pastor. Don't worry about me.
I got this.
Didn't have nothing. You didn't have nothing.
You did.
Didn't have nothing, brother.
See, here's the deal. We live in the world, but we're not of the world. And the world wants us to worship the 90-foot tall, 9 feet wide statue that they have set up.
Come on.
I was listening to somebody today who was talking about how, remember when COVID first came out and we weren't supposed to sing? Because when you sing, your breath comes out, and you could put COVID on somebody else. And where we used to worship, where we used to have church, they told us, you can't worship. And I said, you can't stop me.
No doubt.
See, when we're in the world, not of the world, and the world has certain parameters, and I'm bound by certain physics things like I'm bound by gravity. But when it impedes on the word of the Lord, it is not happening. So one day when this is illegal, one day when we can't gather in public like the rest of the world, one day when they're going to show up at my door and ask me if I have a Bible app on my phone, I'm going to tell them I got 20. Does that mean you're going to use 20 bullets? It's only going to take one to kill me. And you're really not going to kill me. I'm going to go be with Jesus. Paul said to live is Christ and to die is gain. That is our graduation. That's our day when we get to step into the presence of the King. And what am I going to bring him? I'm going to bring him gratitude. I'm going to bring him gratitude, and I'm going to bring him a crown filled with jewels that I'm going to place at the foot of the throne to thank him for what he has done for me. There's not even human words to explain all that. There's really not. So when the world wants us to bow down and worship, or we're going to be thrown into the fiery furnace. Do you know how many Christians say, ooh, that sounds hot? I think I'll just bow down over here. Maybe nobody will see me. Maybe nobody will notice if I'm standing in a group of maybe 10 and we all bow down together. And I don't got pink hair. Maybe they would not see me if I had a hat on. And then I'm just going to bow down. Because that fiery furnace sounds scary. It sounds real scary. But let's keep going.
If I'm in the presence of God, I'm going to stand right there in front of him. I ain't down there. No way, I'll be bow down right there.
Because the golden image is not what we worship.
Right.
Maybe in what is it?
Brad Shack and Benny.
Rad Shack and Benny. Okay, that's just easier.
He's a boogie.
Benny. Brad, Shack, and Benny if you're VeggieTales. If you're cucumbers, that's who you are. And so, they had a choice to make. They'd been given a new name, but they knew their identity.
Amen.
Yes.
Okay, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and Daniel, it was a kind of a foursome, but I
Yes.
think Daniel had a higher position.
Well, no, he will later on.
Oh, okay, so why was, Daniel did this, so why was Daniel not in the fiery furnace?
Daniel was not in the place at the time for this to be brought to the city.
Okay.
Yes.
That's all I need.
Yes, absolutely. It's a great question because, yes, those 4 guys came and they were together. The story of those 4, Daniel, which is his Israeli name. He was given the name Belshazzar or something like that.
Belshazzar.
That one. That was his. So these, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, those are the Babylonian names. Now hear me. Okay, hear me. They had been given new names, but they knew their identity. Say, knew their identity.
Knew their identity.
Y'all say it louder.
Knew
Knew their identity.
Amen.
It did not matter what anybody called them. Sorry, I got a hair. It did not matter what anybody called them. They knew who they were. That right there is a key for us, guys. Okay? Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. In our community, where they look down on us because they think that they are better than us or we are less than, it doesn't matter what they call you when you know your identity.
Amen.
Now say it again. Know your identity.
Know your identity, y'all.
Know your identity. That is it. That is the key. So, they had new names, but they knew their identity. Verse 8. Therefore, at the time, certain Chaldeans came forward and maliciously accused the Jews. They declared to King Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. They're buttering him up, right? You, O king, have made a decree that every man who hears the sound of the music and every kind of music shall fall down and worship the golden image And whoever does not fall down and worship shall be cast into a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom you have appointed over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, pay no attention to you. They do not serve your gods, with a little g, or worship the golden image that you have set up. They buttered him up, and they threw him under the bus. They wanted to see what would happen. These guys were here to stir up trouble. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in furious rage, commanded that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be brought. So they brought these men before the king, and Nebuchadnezzar answered and said to them, is it true? Because remember, they were prisoners of war, and then they showed them a better way to eat and to live, and now everybody is living healthy, and so they were taken and put in charge of some areas. He trusted them. He knew them. He liked them. Now they're kicking him in the dirt. Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve any gods with a little g, or worship the golden image that I have set up? Now if you are ready, when you hear the sound of the music, to fall down and worship the image that I have made, well and good. He's going to give them another chance. The world is going to come to you with another chance. You stand strong. Say, stand strong.
Stand strong.
You stand strong, and the enemy's going to come against you harder. Y'all hear me? We know, right? We know. You stand strong, and the enemy is coming now with double force. You stand strong, and the enemy is going to attempt to pull the rug right out from underneath of you.
Right.
He's going to try to get you to fall back. He's going to try to get you to submit to him. He's going to try to get you to surrender. So he's given him, the king has given him another chance. Verse, I don't know, I'm in 15. But if you do not worship, you shall immediately be cast into a burning fiery furnace, and who is the God who will deliver you out of my hand? Kind of cocky right there, isn't he? Who is the God with a little g that's going to deliver you out of my hand? The world says, I'm going to beat you down, I'm going to come against you, and you're going to die because of it. Who do you think's going to save you? Ask me, I'll tell you.
Yes,
I will tell you. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar. You catch that? The word king is not in there. O Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter. If this be so, our God with a big G, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace. I'm going to stop right there for a second. First they said, O Nebuchadnezzar with no king. They are not, what's the word I'm looking for?
Buttering him up.
Well, they're not buttering him up. They're what?
Addressing?
They're addressing him as a person, not a king. No authority. They're not honoring him at all. And then they said, we don't even have to answer your question. You don't even have to ask us. We're going to tell you what? We're going to tell you what for. We're going to tell you straight off the bat, never change our mind, no matter how bad you want to come against us, that our God is the one that we serve. Our God with a big G, who's going to be active in your life at some point real soon. And you're going to wish you had known him beforehand and stayed with him. He's the king that stayed with him and then left, guys. Our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of your hand. He said, there's two things there. He's able to deliver us out of the fiery furnace, but he will deliver us out of your hand. God is able to change our situation, but he will redeem us. See, we're just passing through here. We're just passing through. You can kill us, it's okay. You can make it so bad that we die because of whatever. It's okay, because to live is Christ and to die is gain. Our God is able to deliver us, but he will bring us out of your hands. See the difference? He's able to change our situation, but he will deliver us out of this world. Y'all with me? Does that make sense? Because this is important, guys. This is so important. But if not, come on, this is faith. This is where faith steps in. But if not, be it known to you, this is like them going boink in his chest. That's what they're doing. You with me?
Yeah.
But be it known to you. Okay, I'm sure that they weren't cocky, but they were built up in the strength of the Lord. You with me?
They call him Jesus.
Yeah, because they're getting him. But if not, be it known to you, O King, woohoo, woohoo, you with me?
Yeah.
That we will not serve your gods or worship the golden image that you have set up. He's able to deliver us. He will bring us out of your hands. But hear me, I'm not going to worship you or your gods or the idol that you set up. God's able to change our situation. He will take us out of this world, and nothing that comes before me I will bow down to unless it's you, Almighty God. Verse 19. Then Nebuchadnezzar was filled with fury, and the expression of his face was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He ordered the furnace heated 7 times more than it was usually heated. Y'all, that means fire. 7 times more. How do you do that? Have y'all ever seen blue fire? Apparently that's the hottest fire that there can be.
Yeah.
Like there's yellow fire and orange fire and red fire, but blue fire is the hottest fire that you can have.
Right.
So he ordered the furnace, turned up 7 times. And he ordered some of the mighty men of his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their cloaks, their tunics, their hats, and the other garments, and they were thrown into the fiery furnace. Because the king's order was urgent and the furnace overheated, the flame of the fire killed the men who took Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. The fire was so hot that the guards taking them died from the heat. It's not hot here, y'all.
Where did it say?
I just read it.
It's in 23, verse 23.
23.
Yeah.
And these 3, okay, no, 22. Because the king's order was urgent and the furnace overheated, the flame of the fire killed those men who took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell bound into the fiery furnace. Yo guys, catch this. The guys that were taking them there died. You know what they could have done? They could have just skirt, and ran.
Yeah.
They could have said, it's our chance to escape. No, you know what happened? They said, ready? They fell. Nobody pushed them. They went on their own accord. Because the guys taking them there had died because it was so hot. Catch the rest of this, y'all. Check this. Then King Nebuchadnezzar, ready, was astonished and rose up in haste, and he declared to his counselors, did we not cast 3 men bound into the fire? They had tied them up like mummies. Here's why he's astonished. You ready? They answered and said to the king, true, O king. He answered and said, but I see 4 men unbound walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt. And the appearance of the 4th is like the son of the gods. Y'all, you got to be really bright to shine brighter than the fire.
Yeah, but you can do that too. And that was a God. He is God.
It wasn't like they walked into the fire and found a flame tall enough to burn their ropes that were on their hands. They willingly went into the fire. They willingly stayed in this world to walk in this world Because when we walk in this world, our hope and our light brings hope and light to others. And when they stayed the course, when they didn't fall down and worship the gods with the little G, they became free, y'all. Hear me. Y'all say free. Free. Who the Son set free is free indeed. They became free. They became unbound. But they were still in the furnace. Y'all with me? Their situation didn't change. They were in the furnace. Nothing changed in the world around them. They were still in the furnace. Sometimes we still got to walk through what we're walking through. We just got to know that God will deliver us through it because He is a good Father. Check out the rest of this. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the door of the burning furnace, and he declared, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ready? Servants of the Most High God with a capital G, come on, say amen.
Amen.
Come out and come here. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out from the fire, and the satraps, the prefects, the governors, and the king's counselors gathered together and saw, ready, that the fire had not had power over them. When we stand as children, the world has no power over us. When we stand in our identity as children of the King, the world has no power over us. You know what happens? We give the enemy and the world power that they don't need to have. We say, here's the keys to my life. Go ahead and wreck it. We give the enemy power because we think we have no hope. Because we think we see no other way out. Because we have forgotten that Jesus stood in the furnace with us. When we went through the furnace, when we went through the valley of the shadow of death, He is with us. We forget. Just because you can't see Him don't mean He's not with you. Y'all recognize and know that Holy Spirit is present right now. Y'all breathe that in for a second. A part of the triune God is sitting here with us right now today.
Right.
He's in that seat right there. He's in that seat right there. He's sitting in that seat right there. He's sitting in that seat right there. He's sitting right there by Aaron. He's sitting right there by Special K. He's like a squat on the ground right there by you. He's standing by the man behind the camera. He's standing right here with me. Holy Spirit is here with us. We just forget. Why? When we forget, that's why we come together. So we can be reminded. Because we do forget. I'm telling you, this has been this year, or put a whole year in one, the past 12 months. It's been a rough 12 months. In the 12 years that I've been an ordained pastor. In the first 10 years, I never wanted to quit. That thought never even crossed my mind. I think I wanted to quit maybe once in the 11th year. In this year, in this past 12 months, I wanted to quit 3 times. You know why? I forgot that I'm not alone in the furnace.
Right.
I forgot, and I took my eyes off Jesus and forgot I'm not alone in the furnace. The Holy Spirit said, hello, I'm here. Verse, I don't know, I left off. Where am I?
She's highlighting.
Then Nebuchadnezzar came to the door of the burning. We called them out, and all of the big wigs were foreseeing that they had not had power over the bodies of those men. The hair of their heads was not singed. Their cloaks were not harmed, and no smell of fire had come upon them. Nebuchadnezzar answered and said, blessed be the God with a big G of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent His angel, ready, and delivered His servants.
Right.
Who trusted in Him and set aside the king's command and yielded up their bodies rather than serve and worship my God with a little g, except their own God with a big G. Nothing happened to them. You know, I've stirred the fire having a bonfire and singed all my hair arm off.
Yeah.
I've been making a s'more and lost all the hair on my arm. These dudes were in the fire and they didn't even smell like smoke. You know what they smelled like? Shekinah glory. Because they've been in the presence of the King. Shekinah glory. When you're in the presence of the King, you walk away smelling like you've been in the presence of the King. You smell like the glory in heaven. You smell like the Son of God, Son of Man, who gave his life, conquered sin and death, and gave us back our identity. Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and delivered his servants who trusted in him and set aside the king's command and yielded up their bodies rather than serve and worship any god except their own God. Therefore, I make a decree, any people, nation, or language that speaks against the God, this is tough, y'all, that speaks, this guy's just tough all the way around. Y'all worship me or I'm throwing you in the fiery furnace. Look, just kidding, changed my mind. Worship the real true God, or you will be torn limb from limb, and your house will be laid in ruins, for there is no other God who is able to rescue in this way. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. When we stay planted as children of the one true King, we are not going to be moved. You can give me a new name. You can put me through all kinds of hell. That's really what that was.
Yeah.
Y'all get that, right?
Yeah.
I'm not being moved. I shall not be moved. And I'm not saying it because I'm proud. I'm saying it because I'm humble.
Yeah.
I'm saying it because I'm surrendered and because I know my God.
Yeah.
I know my God. You know how I know him? I learned him. I learned him. I got schooled right here. Remember? My textbook. I got schooled by Holy Spirit, by the things that Jesus has done. And in this, I now know my God, and I can walk through anything I need to walk through. And when I get in the pity party, and I forget who I am, and I want to quit, he says, snap to it. You forgot. You're not alone in the furnace. You can walk through whatever you need to walk through as long as you keep your identity and your eyes on the King.
There was an interest, I don't know if anybody else called this, and guess who was the one that was all the people who did that, the astrology thing.
Oh, yeah.
And this was later on when the Jews, because you know, Jesus comes to the Jews.
Yeah.
It was the astrologers that did everything. But that's very curious to me, way back when.
Yeah, he was setting a path. He was setting a path for Jesus.
I just thought that was kind of that just stuck out to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the deal. Say, know my identity.
No mind.
Worship the one true King. And there is nothing else worthy. There is nothing else worthy. This world is our fiery furnace. But I'm not bound down to this world. I'm not going to bow down at all. Even when this is illegal. Because it will be illegal probably in my lifetime. For certain in the lifetimes of younger folks around here.
Oh, they've already made it illegal in other countries.
It's illegal all the rest of the world.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, about 6 months ago, girl, in Afghanistan, they were knocking on doors, and they wanted to see your phone, and if you had a Bible app on it, they shot you right in the head, right there.
And they'll take you to jail in Canada if they see somebody in a church or a big group. They'll pick you up and help take you to jail. That's in Canada. That's in Canada.
I'm telling you, it's coming. Here's what happens. If you don't know him, you can't stay steadfast with him. Fiery furnace sounds scary. I'm with you on that one.
I mean, if you're going to stay there, you're going to hell anyway. Just jump in.
Jump in. That's it. Let's stay steadfast. Let's stay steadfast on the King. Father, I just thank you for this word today. I thank you that when we are connected with you, you are the fourth one in the fire. That we are connected with you. We don't have to figure out ways to take care of stuff. You got it. You got this. We don't got this. You got this. Jesus, show us who you are. Holy Spirit, show us who you are. grow our faith meter even more than it was grown yesterday. Even more than it was grown the day before. Tomorrow we want to be worse than we are today. So madly in love with you that this world has nothing to offer. No 90 feet tall, 9 feet wide God with a little G statue is going to catch my attention. Let it be so in all of our community. Speak to those that are missing today. Let them know that they are loved and they are missed. Let them know that we are family, and you as a shepherd gather your flock together and love on your children. And you give us such good gifts. You give us grace and mercy. You give us sobriety and freedom. You give us unconditional love. We did nothing to deserve what you have given us. And you forgive us. And you choose not to remember our sins. Father, you look at us and see the righteousness of Jesus. Help us to walk in that calling. Thank you for today. Thank you for the blessings that you're going to give those that came and heard this word today. Thank you for our food. Thank you for our needless things. Thank you for everything. Thank you for love and life and family. We praise you for all of it. I pray all this in the powerful name, King of Kings, Alpha and Omega, Jesus Christ. Amen.